streets of Nigeria have been boiling over the unrest as thousands of citizens continue to rise against the government economic policies. But before we dive into this intense episode, if you're watching us for the very first time, welcome to the LAJUPOG TV show. We're dedicated to bringing you the latest and most crucial update from Nigeria and beyond. Kindly share this video across all media platforms, like, comment, and don't forget to click on the notification icon to stay updated with our latest content. We will be back shortly.
Welcome back to LAJUPOG TV show.
The whole of crime scene
is happening in the street again.
The center of political news, celebrity gossip, religious gossip, and happiness in the society.
Join us, the voice of Africa.
Nigeria is in the throes of one of the most significant civil movements in recent memory. This is not just another protest. This is a nationwide outcry against policies that have left millions struggling to make ends meet. The removal of fuel subsidies coupled with a weakening currency has ignited a firestorm of dissent. The discontent has grown louder and today it reached a boiling point. In Abuja, the nation's capital, the tension is palpable. What was once a bustling city has transformed into a fortress. The government has responded with a show of force, deploying security personnel in massive numbers to key locations such as Eagle Square, the Federal Secretariat, and the National Assembly Complex. These areas, once symbols of the nation's power and governance, now resembled a battlefield with checkpoint, barricade, and armed personnel on high alert. This sheer scale of this movement is unprecedented. Organizers have called for a 1 million man march, a bold statement of unity and defiance. Citizens from all walks of life, young and old, rich and poor, are taken to the street, demanding their voice be heard. The government's attempts to stifle these movements have only fueled the fire. What we're witnessing is not just a protest, but a revolution of sorts, a powerful surge of collective will, pushing against the very foundation of the current regime. But as with my major uprising, the struggle has come at a cost. Despite the government's effort to suppress the demonstration, the spirit of resistance is alive. The protests have not been without bloodshed. Reports from Kano, Plateau, and Niger State revealed a grim toll. At least 15 lives have been lost, countless others injured, and widespread destruction has ensured. Families are mourning, communities are shaking, and the nation is teetering on the brink. Tonight, as the protests reach their peak, the air is thick with uncertainty across the country, from the bustling streets of Lagos to the quiet corners of rural villages. People are asking the same question: will the government's iron fist prevail, or will the voice of the people bring about the change they so desperately seek? The people of Nigeria hangs in the balance, and the coming days will be the critical in determining the outcome of this monumental struggle. Omoyele Sowore, a prominent activist and leader of the ongoing protests in Nigeria, has been actively involved in the demonstrations that have been taking place across the country. Today, he confirmed that the protest, which started as a peaceful movement against hunger and poor governance, has escalated due to clashes with the security forces. And in Abuja, the 1 million march, the protest was disrupted as security personnel deployed tear gas and made arrests. Sowore, who has been vocal on social media, shared updates about the situation, highlighting the resilience of the protesters by the government effort to quell the movement. Let's watch the interview of Sowore speaking about the protest. We'll be right back shortly.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sowore. Mr. Sowore, first off, let's ask you an evaluation of the past 9 days. Today, the 10th day. What's your view on the direction the protest has gone so far?
Well, it has been very, very successful, and I'm not saying it because we're involved. It is my own assessment, and we're starting to see that the people of Nigeria have woken up, and the sleeping parts of Nigeria are also waking up. I watched this morning a clip by a group of Nigerians known as patriots visiting Tinubu in Abuja, asking him to start the process of making a people-oriented constitution. That's our number one demand out of the 15. And they made an eloquent request about the need for it. I cannot speak to the processes they suggested because that's not something that we are interested in right now. But people are waking up, and they also made it very clear that they told Tinubu and his security agents not to kill people who are legitimately asking for their rights. And you have seen that there's been a lot of rush in terms of interventions. Suddenly, they're releasing money left, right, and center for grants. They are making all kinds of efforts to to make sure that Nigerians are calmed down. But it is for us a little bit, too little, too late. But this is 10th day as I'm speaking with you. Abuja is on the streets to for the grand finale, and I think Lagos will join soon. Port Harcourt will do so. But we must not forget to mention that a lot of high-handedness, extrajudicial killings, and a lot of shenanigans by security agencies would not be overlooked. This was completely terrible handling of Nigerians who are asking for their rights peacefully that we saw in Kano, we saw in Kaduna, even in Lagos, where thugs were driven to various centers where protests were happening to beat up peaceful protesters and even journalists, including your journalists. I'm surprised that you didn't ask the Lagos guy why they decided to send thugs to beat you guys up. But that's a conversation for another day.
Oh, yes, indeed. I mean, speaking of the demands and the protests, today is the last day. Demands have been made, and the government, the president has come out to address it. And he also talked about somewhat of a negotiation or some sort of talks on the sidelines. But if I'm correct, about some days ago, you posted a non-negotiable list of demands that are core demands of the protesters. And those non-negotiable demands, I must have to ask, this is day 10, right? If it's non-negotiable, do you think that it's been achieved then?
No, this is day 10 of a series of revolts that will hit Nigeria if these demands are not met within a period of time. And let me let you in today, being the first, sorry about that, being the first station that we will tell this, that these protests will resume from the beginning of October. And it might even resume earlier, depending on situational variables. And when we start in November, we will not stop until these demands are met. So already that conversation is going on among planners and organizers and the public, members of the public about this. So
just to get it right, 1st of October, which is Independence Day.
Yes. Well, they're on Independence Day. We want to fight for real independence starting from that day.
Now, I must ask, given all of the situation that have occurred during the hashtag #EndBadGovernance protests, from the dispersing of protesters with live bullets, ammunition, to the curfews that was imposed, as well as the events that we saw in Kaduna and Kano, do you think that still going back on the streets to demonstrate is the answer to call for these demands?
Yes, because that's the only language they understand. They don't understand any language that is just mere sending letters to them. But this is not about sending love letters to people in government. People have been cheated. People have been abused. They have been deprived of their fundamental rights, social, economic, and political rights, and they're asking for redress. And so there's no going back in terms of there shouldn't have been a break, but it was the decision of those who are planners and organizers of this that we do our first 10 days as a rehearsal, and the main thing would hit after that.
Mr. Shawara, certain agencies, governmental agencies, immigrations, finance and all, have talked about a certain scrutinies regarding people who they consider sponsors of the protests. First question is, are you a sponsor of the protests here in Nigeria? One, and if you are, have you noticed any indication that you are on some sort of watch list, whether by the immigrations or by the financial institutions here in Nigeria? And also your roundabout view regarding that watch list.
That's the people who should be on watch list are the people who created hunger, starvation, and unemployment, not people who are trying to erase it. But we are Nigerians and we understand how they think. The second aspect of it is that I have been on the watch list of Nigerian government since 1992, when I was part of the student leaders in Nigeria that fought against Ibrahim Babangida, then general and head of state, during Babangida Moscow. So I don't know why they are wasting their time mentioning watch list again. The third aspect of it, yes, we have our organization, the Take It Back Movement account at UBA was frozen, and it still remains frozen as we speak. And when they reached out to us, they claimed that they can't find the documents we used in opening the account, which is ridiculous because there's no way you can open an account without documentation. But we know the game, and but it's also important on the fourth note and last that the individuals who are in these agencies who are making this ridiculous, utterly ridiculous and illegal statement should understand that there's no law in Nigeria or internationally that allows any citizen to be placed on watch list when they have not committed any crime known to your own Nigerian laws. So it is completely illegal, irresponsible, and reckless on the part of the immigration person to say that they are watching some people from diaspora, and as a result, if they come into the country, they'll hand them over. For me, I don't even care. You know, anytime you want to hand me over when I come back, I'm ready. My bag is always packed. And I'm sure many people who got involved in this knew that this going to be, they're in it for a long haul, and they're not worried about this.
So, sir, just to be absolutely clear, to be absolutely clear, did you just say that the Take It Back movement is responsible for or has been sponsoring the protests, just so that we're clear?
They are championing the protest.
Championing.
It's different from sponsoring.
Different from sponsoring. Could you tell us the difference between the two?
The protest is sponsored, or the revolt is sponsored by hunger. That's the main sponsor of the revolt.
Mr. Shore, I have to ask you, right? The truth of the matter is that protests are fundamental human rights for voices to be heard and for dissent, whether or not, especially in a democracy like ours, you know. But we have seen in situations, or rather we've seen in past cases, for example, the Arab uprising, where we saw, or spring uprising, where we saw different protests that set the stage for geopolitics, and it to be when intervention did come in, and then we saw other countries now take full ground, and then these countries are finding it a bit of a slow starts to somewhat of a normalcy with their governance. And I have to ask you, if you are asking for this protest, are you ready, given all that we've seen with Kaduna and Kano, with the waving of foreign flags? What are you doing, and what are the organizers and the sponsors doing, and the people at the forefront, to make sure that this protest doesn't set the stage for geopolitics and intervention of other, foreign entities?
There's no foreign entity here, and you must understand the context in which people are waving flags. All right, they're waving flags that they said was from Russia, and some of them have explained clearly and qualitatively that they don't feel like Nigeria supports their aspirations. So they're using that to spite the bad governance that has become Nigeria's situation. We also suspected, and we have made it clear, that this might be the handiwork of fifth columnists, because we've seen the military trying to make some moves. They're going to barricades, acting nice, And we condemned immediately that we don't support military rule. So no military should come and hide under this protest and take over power. And you realize that since we made that statement, the military guys and the flag wavers have also kind of talked themselves back in. But there's no crime in waving any kind of flag. No crime in waving Russian flag, Palestinian flag in Nigeria. There's no law that says you can't put up a flag of another country during protests. That's why they call it protest. You know, it's sometimes you use it to object to your own socio-political objective conditions and say to this, that's why they call it protest. And on the day of protest, people do things that they don't do on normal days. So don't let us make any big deal about waving Russian flags. But we have condemned those who are calling for military takeover. That we don't want the military. The military in Nigeria is worse. Worse than the military anywhere. I've experienced military rule before, up to 1999. I've lived in Abuja for 5 years, and I saw the senior military officers. They are as corrupt as their civilian counterparts. They are the ones who rig elections. They are the ones who abuse you. They are the ones who went and shot innocent protesters at Lekki Toll Gate. So don't even pray for or wish upon yourself military rule. And bad governance also include those guys in the military and the security forces, and we want to put an end to all of that.
So you have condemned those calling for military rule, however, not the waving of the Russian flag. However, there are laws that say that this is treasonous. However, my focus now would be the loss of lives.
Before you proceed, tell me which law says it's treasonous. Because I may not be a lawyer, but you know I frequent law courts a lot in Nigeria.
Yes,
can you tell me which section?
By the sovereignty of any country, it is treasonous, actually. And also note that they burned the Nigerian flag.
You can't make a pronouncement on TV, on national TV, or people watch internationally. What is treasonous about waving the flag of another country during protest? Tell me, because I've faced treason charges before, so I know a bit about treason or treasonable felony.
We will make that the focus, sir. But I have one question regarding the loss of lives that have happened during the protest. We've had 21 people who have lost their lives. There was a procession yesterday inside of Lagos from Ojota all the way to Alausa, although they didn't get there. However, you've also talked about the fact that there would be a series of these actions, these protests that will continue. You've mentioned October 1st as one of those dates. What would you say to the loss of lives, and what reorganization would you make as a proponent of the protest so that there is not a reoccurrence of loss of lives?
The protesters and the organizers are not the ones killing protesters. It is the government. We've recorded so far almost 40 people killed by the police. Some of them at execution style. The army killed somebody in JAZEERA, and we've seen even police kill themselves. There's an immigration officer in Maiduguri who barricaded himself in an attempt to prevent protests and shot himself 3 times and died. So this is part of the problem we have. We have a lot of unprofessional persons that are handling little weapons. But that is why you saw that the protesters in Lagos yesterday also called for the removal of the IG, whose tenure expires, by the way, on September 4. I am also in support of that call that he should be removed. I'm in support of the call that the Commissioner of Police in Abuja be removed, and also that the Minister of FCT, Wike Nayeson, be removed as well. These are some of the 3 people that have escalated the protest more. And the army was trying to inject itself, as we were discussing earlier. You saw the Chief of Army Staff asking media not to cover the protest, and then later on threatening that they'll get involved. We have responded appropriately that the military has no business getting involved. And I believe that so far they have conducted themselves in ways that respect this view. We don't know what they will do next, but we know what we will do next, which is to reorganize ourselves and hit the streets bigger and harder.
For the next batch of protests starting from August 1st, October 1st, I beg your pardon, would it be another 10-day protest, or would it be just a continual thing until the demands are met in its entirety?
I think we're going to go back and discuss with organizers and after today. But let's give kudos to all the organizers, very brave men and women across the country who have carried on for these 10 solid days without wavering. And we asking the authorities to release anybody that might have been arrested, whether in Kano, we have about 1,000 of them, in Yobe, and to lift the curfew they illegally imposed in Plateau. So we are going to reorganize and meet again and decide how we want to do it. But I think the general sentiment is that it should be a rolling protest, especially between October 1 till October 20th, which should be the annual anniversary of the Lekki Toll Gate killings. So this decision is not for me alone to make. I'm just expressing to you sentiments of some of the planners that we've been talking at the back end.
Mr. Shore, I have to ask, will you be available? Would you be on ground to join the protesters at the forefront?
You know, when we had this conversation the first time, I told you that first the protest will happen, which most of you did not believe. Second, I told you I would participate fully, which some of you thought was my own way of saying or being semantic. It wasn't. I have participated fully in this protest in ways that most of you couldn't have imagined. The world has moved past where you live or where you stay to do protests. Or what is important, and which we have proven, is that everybody that committed to making this protest a success did their best from wherever they are. So if I'm going to participate physically, which is what you're asking, you will see me, and I'm sure that will happen one of these days soon. But the most important thing is that we all participated in this, including you guys, because I saw you guys in the media took a lot of heat, tear gas, and then just seeing your Lagos guy being rough-handled live on TV broke my heart. So thank you all. Also,
yeah, well, I mean, we're just doing our job to bring the news to our viewers. But I have to ask, you said that you have contributed to the protest in some way or the other. I want to know, just to be clear, what were the roles besides being there physically?
Well, you know, when the protest happens on this scale, there's a lot of departments making things happen. So should I disclose to you exactly what I was doing? That will be for another interview.
Now in Abuja, the capital's transformation into battleground underscored the gravity of the situation. The government heavy-handed response fortifying key areas and deploying excessive security has only intensified the resolve of the protesters. This 1 million man march is not merely a display of numbers, but a testament to the unity and defiance that now defines the movement. The protests represent a broader revolution against a system that has been repeatedly failed its people. This collective push against systemic failures suggests the potential for substantial change, even as the cost has been steeped. Reports from Kano Plateau and Niger State revealed tragic loss of at least 15 lives. These aren't just numbers, they are individuals whose dreams were cut short. Their sacrifice highlighted the urgency for a revolution that honors their memory. Omo Yele Sowore commentary provided a crucial perspective, emphasizing the resilience of the Nigerian people despite the brutal crackdown. Sowore's recent announcement that the protest will resume on October 1st signals a continued and renewed push for change. His words remind us that the struggle is not just about today's hardship, but about securing a future where every Nigerian can live with dignity. And as we approach a pivotal moment in this protest, the question remains, will the government approach save this movement, or will the voice of the people bring about the change we desperately need? Nigerians' future hangs in the balance, and decisions made in these coming days will determine the course of our nation's history. You and I are in this together. But then, this is where I'll be putting up my episode for tonight. If you are watching us for the very first time, kindly share this video across all media platforms, and if you cannot share, please like, comment, and don't forget to click on the notification icon to get you updated on our next video.